Hi, I'm Illy, and I'm going to show you how to do stuff with hair, and in this case, to make dreadlocks. This will be a 3-part series for making dreadlocks. Dreadlocks. This will be the first part, and the first part is tools and hair blending. As far as I go, I've done dreadlocks for a long time. I think I'm a crackerjack at doing the trade, but I have no experience in teaching it, so if I don't do a good job, forgive me. It's a learning experience for me as well. I'm learning new things every day still. If you're here on this channel because of my artsy-fartsy videos that I used to upload, I apologize ahead of time because I am jacking this channel for my other trade besides illustration, painting, and that's hairdressing and wiggery. If wiggery is a word, I don't know. But I own a wig shop in Corvallis, Oregon, in the downtown area, and I also run a salon in there just because I have a full hair license, but mainly I'm a beauty supply store. Alright, first off, tools. So we got the crochet hook. If you don't know what the crochet hook is, you know what dreads are. So this one looks different because I've had this one for a really long time, and it hasn't broken yet. I've also stabbed this through my finger, like through it like this on the tip of my thumb before, right under my fingernail. So be careful, kids. There's a 2-head, 1-head, and a 3-head. And this one's 0.75 and this one's 0.5, and then I believe this is also 0.5. This one's 0.6 or 60, 50, you know, 75. 0 point, not 75 point. You know what I'm saying? 0 point, 60, 50, 70. I prefer the 0.50 or 5. The 75, nothing wrong with it, works just as good, but because it's a bigger hook, it's going to be pulling more hair with the hook. And so it's really good if you want to use it with your back combing when you first start a dread, so that you can like grab all that hair and pull it together into a more dense back comb. Almost no back comb method. You could say that because you'd be doing it with this instead of a comb. Because I don't really back comb much. This one's my favorite. I use this more than anything. The 2-hook head, I would say it's very similar to using a 1, except for you pull twice as much hair. It's like each one kind of has its own texture, the way it pulls hair. I would say this one pulls hair kind of like a 1, but it's doing it twice at a time, 2 hooks at a time. So it's gonna look similar to this, which makes it look more wrappy because it's pulling a smaller amount of hair out at a time. Where I feel like the 3-headed one, it kind of pulls a lot more hair all at once, and you don't really get as much of a wrappy look. You can get a wrappy look with it if you're pulling it way out and then, you know, wrapping it, of course, but if you're just going like this, you know, like the regular, just pulling the hairs together, this is what I suggest. And then I usually only use the 1 for finishing up, so I'll get it all together with my 3, and then I will take the 1 and I will go along and pull in all of the little tiny hairs that fuzz out on the... I'll just take them and I'll put them in, you know, like that. Latch hook, it's a hook with a latch. I don't know if you can see it, hopefully you can. This is just a cheap one with a wood handle. I always go for metal and wood. I try to avoid plastic if I can. I use it to pull more hair in. So if I'm making a dread, and the dread's gonna be more than just that one piece of hair, and I need to add hair to it, I'll use a latch hook. Back combing brush, you can use a comb, you can use lice combs, I've seen that, those are great. You can use pretty much anything. I like back combing brushes. I preferably like this one that I didn't even get for dreading. I got this a long time ago when I was opening my shop in Corvallis, and I just wanted to try it. It is plastic, which sucks. But it has multiple teeth rows, and one of the reasons why I like it is because the teeth are very like thick plastic and strong. Like they don't want to snap off as easily as a regular comb. This is just what I like using. I'm going to use it till it breaks. You might need clips or ties just to, you know, help you hold things. Scissors or shears. Don't use your hairdressing shears if you're a hairdresser or if you're just somebody that bought hairdressing shears. Plastic hair will ruin them. A paddle brush, or I mean, it doesn't really matter, I guess, what shape your brush is. This flat looking brush is called a paddle brush, to my knowledge, or is one thing that it's called. I recommend a boar brush because you can get that in wood and boar hair and it's less plastic. You can do it the way I'm going to show you and then just minus out the brushing part. It's going to look less blended, but it's still, you're blending color together. You don't have to use one, but if you want to do it, excuse me, if you want to do it, I'm so gross. If you want to do it the way I'm doing it, you're going to need a brush with lots and lots of soft teeth that can move around. Again, wood and boar, better for the environment. All of these tools in my beauty supply online shop. So you can go and find these things there, or you know, there's Amazon and other places. Everything I'm talking about is pretty easy to find stuff. I may or may not have a good price in my shop because I work with manufacturers, so I try to get the best prices for my clients. So you can look there if you want to support me. If not, you know, there is like eBay and Amazon, all that. You can find that stuff there. This is the bags that the hair comes in. Boy, do I wish they didn't. But again, one-use plastic, say no. You can reuse these. I've seen a lot of dread makers will ship their dreads in the bags that the hair came in. So if you're, you know, looking to learn how to make dreads so you could sell them, that's the thing you can do. You can take the bags that the hair came in. They do come apart easily if you're too rough. The bulk of the dreads, the heavy part, and put it in gently, and then kind of just let it drop in so you're not ripping it, because I've done that and that's really annoying. I wish they didn't use this, but you know, can't control everything. Yeah, reuse them if you can reuse them. That's good. Waste. So waste that comes from the hair onto the hairbrush. Waste, you know, this is from the hairbrush. I just take it out of the hairbrush. I don't use it from the floor or anything like that, but hairbrush, you know, you can get a lot of waste in it when you're blending. You don't want to waste this. You can use it for dreading. At some point in one of the videos for the series, I will show you how to use it in dreading. But yeah, save it. I usually save it and just put it in a bag. So, you know, this is actually these two colors mixed together because I already started. As you can see, these dreads like just kind of shooting out right now. So then, you know, you're going to obviously need hair. This is a bundle each that I cut in half. I like working in halves. I find it easier and less work and less hair loss, like less waste from the braids if you cut it in half and have like shorter lengths. Because I mean, you can always add more length to a dread as you're working. You don't necessarily need a long piece of hair to make a long dread. Do what's easiest for you. That's what I do. And then a lot of people will use boiling water or flat irons with water, etc. with water, because water doesn't burn it, but it melts it, and that's what you want. I like steaming. The flat iron thing hurts my hands. I like boiling water to pour down with the pouring method. For the most part, I steam them, which is really fun because you can make them do different shapes and stuff with steaming them. Don't burn your hands though. Be careful. I usually hold it really close so that I know exactly where the steam's going, and then I'll hold down here, and then I'll just choop, or I'll like bend it, and then choop. And you can like use, I don't know, like tongs or something if you want instead of your hands. I am a masochist, so. So usually I don't do the laying it out thing like this. I've seen other people do it that way, and you can do it that way if you want to. But I like using my rack loom. I like calling it a loom because I use it to loom wefts sometimes too, like hand-tied wefts. But loom, rack, whatever you want to call it. This is actually for embroidery. I will have some of these in my shop. You can also get them from art stores like Michael's. I know you can get them from Michael's. Probably Joann's or Hobby Lobby maybe, I don't know, anywhere where they have embroidery stuff. But they are quite expensive. Art stores, ugh, I love them, but they are really expensive. I might have them in my shop by the time this video goes up. If not, then I might have them soon. I'm gonna get them for cheaper. So if you want one of these, look for the parts in my shop. I usually hang my hair on here like this is, and then I just pick it up, take it apart, and then hang it back down. I find it just a neat way to store hair that I'm currently using. Like this right here, these are pieces that I'm using for a dread wig over there. And with it having two sides, I can put the hair on one side and the dreads on one side. So it's convenient that way. So with blending, you gotta decide, okay, what colors am I gonna use? How much of those colors? What color are those colors gonna make together when you blend them together? And then how much of that color are you gonna blend with the other color as far as length? Now me saying all that at once probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but we'll go through it. For the sake of an easy example, we're gonna do brown and a blonde. This is Irish cream and this is walnut. These are discontinued colors from dreadlocks. I bought these like, 4 or 5 years ago. I'm trying to use up all my old stuff because I got new stuff coming in. So if you need low heat or high heat jumbo braids for a good price, I will have those in my shop. I have a manufacturer for them. So yeah, and I have sales all the time and stuff. If this, say this brown is shorter than this blonde, then when you blend them together, if you were to blend them both equally together, as in centered, so like say this one's longer, I would center the middle of this one with this one's middle. So let's say I do that, it's gonna make a dark to light gradient or balayage or ombre because the brown is shorter than the blonde. So the blonde is gonna leave ends at the bottom, and that's how you get that gradient look, is you use the lengths. So if I wanted blonde to be at the end and not the brown, I would make sure the blonde is longer at the ends than the brown when they're centered together. Now another way you can do it is if you were to off-center them. So you don't want to off-center them so much that it's going to be hard for you to hold on to it and they're going to be like slipping out of your hand. So let's say you grab the blonde and you want to add brown and you want to off-center it because you want the blonde to go to the bottom so it's showing on the bottom, but you don't want the brown to. So you can off-center it like this, which is how I made this blend. And then when you go to dread, you would also off-center it so that the blonde is poking at the bottom. And then as you go, you can add, like if I wanted to make this dread longer, I would just add more of a blonde color to the brown as I'm going down so that it's making a gradient, getting lighter and lighter. But as far as like starting for the root, I would just off-center it because I like to cut them in half. So you could cut them at different lengths to do the same thing and have it centered. So I could cut like, I could not cut the blonde and then cut the brown, and then the blonde would be longer. I think that's a pretty good introduction, I hope. I hope everything I said made sense and I didn't talk too quick and stuff. Feel free to ask questions in the comments. I will answer them. Okay, so for mine, I want to go, I already did 3 that were a bit lighter. So I want to go a bit darker, but I want to go darker than these 3, and I'll show you a close-up. But then these 3, because these 3, what am I trying to say? I want to go darker than the first 3, and I want to go darker than the last 3. So I'm going to go more brown than all of these, because these 3 I put more blonde, and these 3 have more brown, but I want darker than those. More more brown this time. Hey, you. So I'm just gonna put this back up in here. Fate has it that this is a good opportunity to show you how to unjack up your hair, because this hair got jacked up when it fell down. I don't know how it got so jacked up just from falling, but it did. So I'm grabbing the ends, and I'm matching the end of this to the end of this, and then laying it back over. Pinching the ends and pulling gently. Anything that's loose and long will come out, and I'll just match up the ends on that side and pull it over. And you can switch and do it on this side Match up the ends and pull it over, or you can grab both ends too, like this. And you just keep going until it looks less jacked up. Because it will. If you just keep going, it'll get better. Sometimes it takes a little while to get there. And sometimes it doesn't get perfect blunt ends. You have to really work at it for that. But yeah, I just do that, run my fingers through it, catch little loops. And I do this first because if I just grab it and start brushing it first to fix it, I'm gonna like lose all of this that's hanging down that's not centered. So basically I'm pulling it and re-centering it. I can see a bunch of blunt ends right here where it's not even. So I'm just gonna kind of gently pull that apart. Then recenter it. There we go. And then at this point, what I do to have a good grip on it, I wrap it around my finger. So I'm holding onto it with these, have my finger out like this, like that. I wrap it like this, and I put it down and I brush it like this. And if you get a bunch of loose hair in your brush, you can literally do that pull method out of the brush. So just grab the hairs and pull it from the brush and then recenter it. Get some blonde here. And so if I wanted it to be more brown than blonde, I would use more brown than the blonde. I'm just going to center this a little bit better. Line up one side. That way when I center it on here, I know I have a grip on all the pieces in the middle. And I want some of the blonde to poke out at the bottom with less brown, so like a gradient. So I'm going to do this. So when I center it in the middle of the blonde, not really centering it in the middle of the browns, I'm gonna call that the middle, and see it's gonna be longer on this side. So if I want the gradient to show a lot, like I want a lot of blonde to show at the bottom, when I go to dread it, I would dread it like this. And this would blend into this, and then the bottom would be blonde. Like this one right here has more blonde at the bottom than the other ones, because I did it more with that one. So to start blending, you put your pieces together and you pull them apart. Put your pieces together and you pull them apart. Pieces together, just one over the top of the other one, and pull them apart. I'll do this the first time in real time, just so you have a realistic expectation of the work that goes into blending. So you don't end up trying this at home being like, it's not working. I've parted a few times and it doesn't look as blended as yours. It takes a little while, you gotta do it a bunch of times. You know, just keep going. So while I'm doing this, have you guys ever tried a 6 small meals a day diet? Because that's what we're doing over here right now. And it being quarantine here, it makes it a lot easier to do. Yeah, so that's what I'm doing with Mike, and it's mostly for Mike. I'm just like being supportive and doing it with him, because it's much easier to do a life change when other people that in your household are doing it with you. Okay, so I'm falling out here, so I'm just gonna re-put that in there. There we go. I parted it a bunch of times. It looks all stripey. And now I'm going to do the wraparound finger thing so I can get a good grip on it, so it doesn't all just kind of come out with the brush. The brush will work better if you keep it clean too. So normally I would just pull his hair out, but it's fine. We're still blending right now. So now I'm gonna blend it with the brush. You don't have to do it on the table. You could do it like this. Works fine. Gets all staticky though, so I find it like easier to just do it on the table. A boar bristle brush will help with static too. Okay, so now it's looking blended. Looking blended. I still see a few little streaks of where it's more blonde and more brown, and I want it to look like one color. So I'm gonna start parting it again. And basically what I do is I look for any areas that look more bold in one color than the other, or more blocked. Block is like a single color right there, you know, like a stripe. A stripe would be a block of color, where it's not blended at all. So like, I don't know if you could see that, but there's like a block right there, just like a whole strip of blonde right there. And so I'm gonna take my fingernails and try to part it in half and move it around. See some brown doing that, so I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna keep going. And sometimes it's not, sometimes the color that you need to part isn't right on top, so you can feel free to rotate it. So rotate it and keep going. Rotate it, keep going. Just so you're getting all the pieces of hair, not just the hairs that are on top of each other. And I'll just keep doing this, just keep going. La-di-da-di-da. Yeah, so we're basically a little bit over 2 weeks into this. I think we're on actually this is the third week. This is the third week. We're on the third week of this. They say it's not a diet because you're supposed to continue doing it, or a diet's temporary. It's supposed to help you lose weight and then keep the weight off because it's healthier for you. So in 3 weeks, Mike has lost like 10 pounds. I think I've only lost 1 pound because I swear to God, I'm eating more than I did before. So I'm definitely one of those people that like when I get really busy, I like forget to eat, which is not good for you. Don't do that. Have little snacks around you so you don't forget. So this diet is definitely good for me because I need to eat more probably, because you need to eat so your brain can function correctly and be healthy. So yeah, I'm just wondering if anybody else has tried a diet, or I guess a lifestyle change of your diet, similar to that. I got turned on to it by a client. She is awesome, but yeah, she works for a company that does that kind of stuff, and they like, you can like get food from them too, like they'll provide food for you, or you know, or not, or you could just do the calorie thing and eat 6 meals a day, 2 to 3 hours apart. Yeah. Anyways, now we're done. So I'm gonna brush it some more. Now it's really starting to look like one color. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, I'm happy with that. So I'm gonna put it on here, and I'm gonna compare the darkness, and I think it's really similar to the first one, so I'm gonna have to add more brown. So basically I would just take a piece of brown and put it on there and then start doing it all over again. And that is how you blend colors together. And depending on the length of each color is how it's gonna get blended together. You could take 2 lengths of the same length and blend them together, and then you get just one whole new color that's solid. The more you blend it, the more solid it's gonna look. I personally like when it's very, very solid. I don't really like there being a lot of like, if I'm like dreading, I don't like there to be a whole lot of like streaks in the blend when I'm dreading. I think it can look pretty for other things like extensions and stuff, but like loose hair extensions and stuff, but or braids it looks pretty for. But dreads, I personally, for my own personal taste, I like when it's super blended. So I'll show you up close some of these dreads that are made from these 2 colors doing the same exact thing, just so you can have like a little sample of what this makes as a dreadlock. If you're interested in getting any like blends that I make myself, I do put them in my shop sometimes when I get a wild hair in my booty. I will make a blend and then I won't want to really use it myself, but I'll really like the color, just, you know, don't feel like dreading it or something, and I'll put it in my shop. I think there's one in there right now. It's called a pumpkin calico, or calico pumpkin, something like that, but it's a cool brown, blonde, copper mix, and there's like 5 different colors that I mixed into it. That's blending for you. If you made your first blend just now while I was talking, good job. If you're doing a diet lifestyle change, I'm rooting for you. You can do it. It's hard in the beginning, but it gets easier. I think it's a little bit easier now than it was the first week, so you can do it. Yeah, so hashtag stay at home saves lives. I'm filming from home. This is a wall in my dining area, so like this is actually my dining table, like where we eat dinner. And yeah, so be careful, be safe, be healthy, be happy, think positive thoughts, and be motivated for the future. Bye.